After a huge spike in the amount of dog thefts during lockdown, people are being encouraged to check their pet insurance to see if they're covered.
But with just half of all dog owners taking out a policy, is paying a monthly fee worth it? Alice Beer is here now to explain more. Do we need it?
Well, you've got to do the maths, basically. But if you are one of the 3.2 million people who have got a new pet during lockdown, it is certainly time to make a plan. So as you say, less than half of the pet owners in the UK have got insurance for their pet. Now, for a small budgie or hamster, of course, not so important. But even for a rabbit, we had a rabbit, £400 for dental work.
Oh.
Stanley was very ill the other week. 1,600, my dog, yes. I sort of assume that everyone knows who Stanley is. Everyone knows Stanley. £1,600 for 4 days treatment. Now, I'm not criticising the amount the vets are charging, but it is going to leave you reeling if you are not prepared for it. Even a cat, you know, if it's got a kidney infection, £800. These are massive amounts of money. And a very small minority of pet owners have actually got pet insurance. For two reasons, I think. One is it's a very confusing marketplace. It's like getting private health insurance. If you've ever dipped your toe into that market, that is really, really confusing. But it's also a very sort of daunting monthly outlay as well. Let me just show you some prices. So for a small dog, there are so many variables here. So this is approximate. Small dog, you're going to pay about £30 to £40 a month to insure. For a small cat, £10 to £20 a month. If that's pedigree, are you pedigree? You're looking at £70 a month. You know, it's a lot of money. And for a rabbit, £10 to £30 a month.
It's a lot. I mean, that adds up.
That's a lot of money. Of course it is, yes.
Which, of course, with insurance, you might not ever use.
You might not ever use, yeah.
But you might. And that's the thing, because these things can happen so suddenly, these big expenses.
Exactly. And it will cover most of your vet's fees. It will cover most medical expenses. It will cover third-party liability. If your dog runs out in front of a car and there's a crash, if your dog bites somebody, you know, remember we've had a long period of these puppies not being socialised, so you know there's unpredictable events about to happen. Also, if you're taken into hospital, maybe you get COVID and you're taken into hospital, it will cover boarding fees, but you need to be aware of what it will not cover, and this is where the shock is. So, neutering your pet. We all want to neuter our pet. Most of us want to neuter our pets. £150 to £350, not covered. Pre-existing conditions. David, in fashion, his dog had an eye complaint. Thousands of pounds he had to pay out, not covered because it was a pre-existing condition. Cooper had already had a problem.
So if you get them insured when you first get them as puppies,
yes,
then you're good.
Then you're good.
So the earlier you do it, the better.
The earlier you do it, absolutely. Dental treatments, routine dental treatments, no, not covered. Perhaps if you've had an accident, if your dog's had an accident and a tooth gets knocked out and he needs treatment, that would be covered. But if you need an extraction because the tooth's got rot in it or something, not covered. Routine checkups, treatments, flea treatment, anti-worming, not covered, but your insurance might insist on them as well. And then you look at your policy, you've got to pay an excess, maybe the first £100 every time. Vet fee contributions, maximum cover for the year, maximum cover per treatment. There is so much to consider that you will be questioning whether it is worth it. So the question is, do you self-insure or not? And I was self-insuring for Stanley, my dog, OK? So £30 a month for a small dog. I put £30 a month aside, say. So I've got about, when he reaches 4 years old, I've got about £1,400 in the bank, haven't done the proper maths. His hospital bill was £1,600. Now, if I had had insurance and given that £30 to insurance company, I would still have had to pay excess plus a vet fee contribution. So I'd still have had a bill of £320, whereas I just had to top up an extra £160. So for that, it was worth it. But had he stayed in hospital another night, then I would have been in the red. So you need to consider, can you cope with a big bill out of the blue? And if you can't, you need to get insurance.
Right, but if you can't afford the insurance, then where can you go if you haven't got the money for it?
Look, there are means-tested places that you can go to. So the Blue Cross the RSPCA, the PDSA, they will all help you, but they are means tested. And if you're on state benefits, then they will consider you. But you cannot just take on a pet.
But it's not a guarantee.
No, it's not. And these charities aren't getting any more money since these extra 3.2 million pets were acquired during lockdown. So it is your responsibility to take on a personal plan for your pet. And it equates to, if you have 5 coffees a day from a shop, it equates to that. That is your coffee allowance, and you now have to put that into your pet's
And obviously, when you're
insurance.
thinking about getting a dog, if you're thinking about getting a particular breed, some breeds
are predisposed to certain conditions. You need to look into that. And as you said, you need to get the insurance when they're a puppy, so they have no existing conditions, and get it early. You cannot assume you're going to switch between one insurance and another. It's not like normal car insurance or anything like that. It's not a competitive market like that. Get it when they're very young, get it when they've got no pre-existing conditions, and stick with the same company, but please shop around.
And Stanley's on the mend?
Stanley is very much on the amend, that expensive little boy. Lesson learned.
Well,
Worth every
goodness
penny
for that.
now.
Like
Gorgeous
Stanley.
thing.
We like Stanley.
I know, he likes you too.